everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Javier in the Air. This is season 5, episode 24, and it is the next to last episode of season 5 and of the year 2024. So we're going to do a little bit of highlights. This is actually technically the last one. The other one will be on the 30th, but it will be talking about what's going to be happening in 2025. Maybe I'll have time to put in the new opening bits that will change. I try to change it every year, so I'll have one on the 30th that will show what's going to look like in 2025. Talk a little bit about what I'm going to try to do in 2025, my goals for the year, for this show. Not for me personally, just for the show. So that will be basically maybe episode 0 of season 6. But anyway, so this is going to be packed full of adventure. So we're gonna have our trash in the hood. We're gonna have our Zen moment. We're gonna talk a little bit about the tasting party that I just did last night. That also included trivia. So we'll talk about all that, and if we have any time left, we'll do something else. So for those of you who have never been here before, welcome to Javier in the Air. Those of you who have been here before, welcome back, and we'll see a little bit about what you are going to be enjoying this episode, as I just talked about, and we'll see what's going to happen. So let's go to our Trash in the Hood. Dark Frog Social Media presents Trash in the Hood, weeks 123 and 124. Hey everybody, welcome to week 123, day 1. This was a very crazy one. You see that big piece of metal on the right is part of a train air conditioning unit that must have fallen off a truck or something. Plus a couple of vape pens, about 28, 29 cigarette butts, plus all the normal fast food junk, mini wine bottle, a bottle of juice, soda cans, water bottles, and all the sorts of nonsense that you normally get on a day 1. So this is day 3 also of week 123, so it starts changing some of the stuff that I see. So now you see there are utensils, almost the spork but not quite, beverage cans, beverage cups, lots of paper and lots of plastic like Ziploc baggies and stuff like that. Behind everything is a bunch of pieces of metal that I found as well. And then only about 12 or 14 cigarette butts. It was an unusual route that I normally go on that doesn't have many cigarette butts. However, this made up for it. This is day 23, day 4. So you notice this, more pieces of plastic and everything from car accidents. Used rag of some sort, probably a mechanic's rag. Only about 12 cigarette butts. This was unusual as well. Part of a light, part of another piece of a car, and a bunch of plastic stuff this time around. So it was a little bit different than normal. So this is week 124, day 1. This one has about 30 cigarette butts, another liquor bottle, a beer can, big pieces of cardboard and paper, which is not unusual, but I usually find it on day 1, day 2 when I'm out there. So I guess somebody's pulling up or boxing up stuff on the weekend. And then a bunch of plastic and paper and stuff like that, and a couple of straws. And then we had this one here, which was 124, day 3. This one had a lot more unusual stuff like small wrappers, small candy wrappers, small tool wrappers, or some sort of IT type stuff, batteries and whatnot. Also a frame from a window that was from an accident that I had been trying to pull for a while, but it had a lot of glass on there. So by the time we got to it here, the glass had been removed for the most part, so I was able to put it into my bag. Plus a huge piece of cardboard again, and then some other Swisher Sweets and a Pokemon Psyduck, which was the great find for the past 2 weeks. And so there you have it. Just continue to keep having trash on the streets. There you have it, our Trash in the Hood. So I've gotten a couple of people asking me questions like, why do you only do your hood? Or why do you only pick up like non-organic trash, and so I'll tell them here. One is I don't have a lot of time sometimes to go to other people's hoods. Plus, there's always trash in my neighborhood, so I'm always going to pick up trash here. From time to time, I do go over to co-walker Julia Takashita and her husband's hood, which is over in the main part of Cedar Park off of Main Street. And so you will find from time to time, and on here, just check the archives of Javier in the Air, and you can find it on there. So there's that, and then also we do try not to pick up anything that we would consider dangerous. We don't pick up any dog poo in bags because you never know if there's dog poo on the outside or the inside or anything like that. So we try to avoid that. Which lately, by the way, we haven't been finding any bags. There's just been huge piles of poo all up and down El Salito. So don't know who you are, but please don't do that. Then also, we try to avoid stuff like food containers that still have food in them. We try our best to grab it and flick it out so that we can get the styrofoam and plastic and get that off the streets and leave the organic material, and organic meaning food material, on the streets because it will decay and degrade and break down according to nature. So that's probably the best way for it to go than to put excess food into a container that will just go into a huge landfill. I mean, it's kind of pointless to throw away the food like that when it's going to degrade and can actually help out the grass or anything around it. We don't find like huge chunks of it. Though the other day I did find an entire bag of. It felt like it was full. And so I usually don't like to put that in my bag for the same reason as I was saying before. Plus, they have a tendency to leak, and sometimes the bag will come undone, and the food may go into the bag itself. And I don't want to deal with that. And again, it could be hazardous to my health and anybody that goes with me. So what I did with that bag is, luckily I was by the open trash cans over by Hatch Pond. So I was able to just take it with my grabbers and walk it all the way to the trash can and then throw it in the trash can, and avoid any problems like that. Gets it off the streets, but then it also, I don't get to recycle it because it's got too much organic material and you can't recycle that. So it just goes into the trash. So there you have it for that. If you have any additional questions, comments, or thoughts about this segment of the show, if you'd like to see something else on this segment of the show, like maybe me show, I don't know, something else with me picking up trash, then by all means, please leave me a message here on my show at Javier in the Air, or my handle, hashtag Javier in the Air 01. Or if you know how to get a hold of me outside of this little square box that I'm sitting in, then we can do that as well. So we'll take a look at that. In the meantime, let's go to our Zen moment. Okay, there you have it. Your Zen moment for the week, which was a um, summation of some of the places that I and some of the things that I did for 2024 for the show. I'll try to document better next year so that I can have a year review. That'd be really nice and almost be the entire episode. So, all right. So there was your trash in the hood, and there was your Zen moment, and now we're gonna go into the tasting that we had last night. So last night, usually in December, I try to do something different. So this year was Christmas cocktails or Xmas cocktails, depending on how you like to say it. It was a smorgasbord of different things, and it was really, really good. We didn't have a lot of people, but we had a really good time. So um, we'll go into the pictures here in a second, but we also did trivia, so it's a really great one. I think you'll enjoy it, and if you are interested in making it to one of these tastings next year, January will be a black beer. Any beer that is black, which I know a lot of people say, well, that's just stouts and porters, and that's not the case anymore. I myself have had many a black lager, and there are some other ones out there as well. So hopefully we'll get a good group, and we'll get a good amount of different beers there. So let's go into our Xmas cocktails. Dark Frog Social Media presents Spirit Time. This week, the Xmas Cocktail Party. Hey everybody, here we are at the Xmas Cocktail Tasting. So this is the first one up, and actually it was the winner. This came from Ben and Missy, and this was Polvo Punch, a Mexican traditional punch that they actually give out here at the restaurant called Polvos. On the first day that it gets cold, they hand it out for free. After that, you have to pay, of course. But basically, it's a spiced alcoholic cider drink. That's right, it's a cider, and it's really fantastic. And we all voted for it because it was that good. So there you have it. Next up was Julia and James's cherry cordial. So in the cherry cordial, it basically had cherries, of course, cherry cordials, of course. If you know what a cherry cordial is, it's that candy that you get in those mixed chocolate boxes that you usually get around Christmas time and or Valentine's. And then it had a bunch of alcohol in it, like 3 different kinds. Then it had chocolate in it. So it was a real blended together drink. It was really good. It just wasn't as good as Polvo's, but it was really good. Wasn't too thick, wasn't too sugary sweet, though it was sweet. Turned out really nice. Way to go, James and Julia. Next, our good friend Kay had Xmas Punch. So basically, it was pomegranate and orange juice, and I think some pineapple juice in there as well, and mixed it all together. And then when she got here, she poured champagne into it. So it was a champagne punch type of thing. Really, really good. The juices made it really refreshing. It was really fantastic. Just wasn't as good as Polvo's, unfortunately. But way to go, Kay. Good job on that. And as you can tell, we drank most of it, and that we drank more as the night continued because we did play trivia. And then last but not least, we had Pennsylvania Dutch eggnog that Greg submitted, and it was just fantastic. The Dutch really know their eggnog. So it was only about 40, maybe 58 proof, but whatever it was, it really seemed to pack a punch. You could really taste the alcohol in it. It was, as eggnog is, it is thick and creamy, and so if you have any dairy issues, this was not for you. But it was really, really good. We got through about half of it before we finished the night. So this one was a little bit more on the higher sweet side, so we couldn't take as much, but we certainly tried our best to drink it all. Way to go, Greg. Hey, gonna wrap things up here and then call it, but before we go, want to finish on the tasting. So on the tasting, it turned out really good. Like I said, we only had 4 submissions. I decided to not do a submission this time due to the fact that I didn't really have I had a lot of stuff in my liquor cabinet, but I didn't get a chance to really put stuff together in time. I was running around getting some gift cards and stuff like that for the winner and the winner of the trivia. So I decided to sit out. Besides, most of the time I don't win anyway. And I know that's not saying anything. You should always submit something. I just ran out of time. So I apologize to everybody who was anxiously awaiting my submission. But there you have it. So again, once again, thanks to Ben and Missy, or congrats to Ben and Missy for winning. So we did do, I don't know if we did it last year, but we've done it a couple of times before on the show, I believe, at the tastings that were then shown on the show. Christmas trivia. And so when I first, a little backstory real quick. When I first moved into this house about 10 years ago, I decided I wanted to be more social in my homestead. So before I'd been living in apartments and stuff like that, and didn't really feel like it was great to have a good party for that. So now here I am in my own house 10 years later. Well, but on the first year, I should say, had a housewarming party and went over real well. And so then I decided from that point on, I was going to try to do my best to have a party every month if I could. And have a specific theme for it. So that's where the tasting parties began. And again, it's always a beer theme or a liquor theme or a wine theme. Liquor being like cocktails or just liqueurs and stuff like that. So it did great. The first 4 years I went every month and I had a party. So that was 48 tasting parties that I had. And then COVID hit. So it was a little bit dicey there. I had one or two, maybe one or two a year for the next 2 or 3 years. So then I started it up again when I got this new job where I met new people and they were interested in having parties. And so I said, well, we need to get these going again. So I've been doing that now for with this company for about 2 years now. So with this group, which is a fantastic group, by the way, you guys are awesome. And it waxes and wanes, depends on who is up to making it to the party or not. So I mean, I've had upwards of like 15 to 16 people in the house, downwards to like 6 so far. Try to do one every month. It's not always happening, so I don't get to show these every month. But we have tried just about everything. Let me say that again. Just about everything. I know you're thinking, no, he's just being facetious. No, we've tried just about everything. So if you don't agree with me, then please feel free to send suggestions on my show or to my email or to on Facebook or on Instagram or wherever you can find me and say, hey, have you tried tasting this? So I guarantee you we are pretty, I'm fairly confident we've tasted just about every type of liquor, beer, and for the most part, most wines. Now I'm sure there are some obscure wineries that we can't get the wine, so then of course I'm not going to be able to try it if we can't get the wine, can we? So anyway, regardless of that, if you think of something and you'd like to see it tasted on the show, then by all means certainly send me a note. During this tasting we did have Xmas trivia, and I say Xmas because it covered the gambit of everything that wasn't just necessarily about old Saint Nick, and we had a lot of things. So I went really obscure with these on some of them because a lot of people know their Christmas trivia, so I had to do something a little bit harder. I was going to make it fill in the blank, but I was told by more than one person that that's just being cruel. And since I didn't want to be even Ebenezer too much, I decided to go ahead and go with that. So just for example, what was the decade that Coca-Cola started using Santa Claus in their ads? And that was the 1920s. So that was an example. Another one would be this country on Christmas Eve celebrates Christmas by eating chicken from KFC. What is the country? And of course I had options for them to choose from, but for you I'm going to tell you it is Japan. That's right, Japan, if you didn't know. And then, of course, the one that always gets thrown in there, at least when I do trivia, is who is the representation that goes out and punishes the naughty kids. It's not always on, I don't think it's on Christmas Eve. It may be the day before, but it's called Krampusnacht. And it's from, I believe the origin is from Austria. And of course, we are talking about Krampus. And if you watch the recent movie about Santa, Krampus is his stepbrother or half brother or something, which makes things really unusual, as in where did they come from? But anyway, so it was really good trivia. 20 questions, winner take all. I gave all the questions and the multiple choices. Then all these people that were in the game, they gave their card to the person on their left, who then rated it or judged it for them when I gave the answers. Gave it back, and then we found out, lo and behold, the Takashitas, James and Julia, had 15 out of 20 right. So way to go, you two. Fantastic on your Xmas trivia. So lure, I should say. So that's fantastic. Kudos to them. They won a prize as well. So I think overall, for the 10 years plus years that I've been doing this here, I think they are the biggest winners overall. Either they've won the contest or they've won a side contest like the trivia or something like that. So kudos to them. Let's see what 2025 will hold. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the show, but I want to talk a little bit about what's coming up next episode. So next episode will be the season finale. We'll talk a little bit about what we did this year. We being as a group, anybody that's come onto the show, been on the show, talks about the show. What we're going to do in 2025, what I hope to do in 2025, and we'll see what we can get going. We'll also have some highlights from Xmas. I think Santa's assistant will once again make it out on Christmas Day to go on his long walk. Wink, wink. On his long walk around the neighborhood, not only to pick up trash, but if you stop him, Santa's assistant will give you a candy cane. So if you're in the neighborhood of, say, this house, then you see Santa's assistant walking around. Now he's usually got red sweats on, a red Christmas type shirt, and he has a Pancho Claus kind of hat. And if you don't know what a Pancho Claus is, if you see the hat, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this is, I think, his 6th year. It might be his 6th year doing this. Usually early morning. Hopefully, sometimes it's bitter cold, but sunny. I don't think there's been a Christmas where it's been a Christmas Eve, a Christmas Day where it's been rainy. But we'll see what happens this year. There's been a lot of rain here the past couple of weeks, on and off. So we'll see what happens. So if you're in the area and you see him, he'll probably wave to you, wave at him, and if you actually stop him, like you're walking, he will give you a candy cane. So there you have it. There's the show. I hope everybody has enjoyed it, and it's been a good one for them. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns for the show, please feel free to drop them here on my YouTube channel. That's Javier In The Air. That's in the air, not on the air. And it's not the other In The Air that does helicopter rides. This is just strictly on the ground podcasting or blogging or whatever you want to call it. So you can also reach me on Facebook and Instagram and through other means if you know how to get a hold of me. So please reach out. Love to hear from you. Always looking for people to interview on the show. Always looking for a co-host for an episode or two, and always looking for new ideas. So if you want to see me do something, please send me a note. If you want to see me go somewhere, send me a note, and I'll see what I can do. So there you have it. Hope you enjoy the show. Please come back and hope that you have a good week. If you're already off, you're going to have a good week. If you still have to work like I do, then try to keep a positive frame of mind until Christmas comes around. So that's it, everyone. So have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.